Okay, here we are in version 7. Welcome. Yesterday, yesterday or previous version was a bit of a mammoth session. I'm hoping this one's going to be a bit more streamlined, a bit more focused. I felt like I was a little bit all over the place last version, which is fine. Which is fine. We're kind of we're directing ourselves and we're developing, and often development isn't a kind of single issue. You're not focusing on one thing. There are sometimes things you have to hop between, but we're going to try and stay focused today. If you are returning from having followed the previous versions, then thank you, welcome. And hopefully we can continue programming a little bit every day and working towards achieving our goal of making a password manager. And actually, we're getting there. We are getting pretty close. So firstly, on our to-do list, increment version. So we're now on version 1.3. Yep. We need to encrypt the store password function. What does that mean? Okay, so the store account, I guess. So we did that yesterday, right? We encrypted the store account function, so that is all good. We've encrypted the data. This is just some examples here. So we are going to be working on today. Tell you what, we're getting to the end of this to-do list here. Create a retrieve password function, and we've already started putting that in place yesterday. So if we jump into our code here and go down to storage, you can see that we have this retrieve password function. Now, there's one thing I have been thinking about. I had a quick kind of just refresh my mind just before starting this video. And I'm looking at this file here, this text file, and I'm thinking to myself, imagine if we had like 10 users or 100 users or 1,000 users. Suddenly, this would all be full of files with all crazy names, right? And so it might be better if instead of storing this here, we put it in its own folder called user data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a folder to my project, and I'm going to call it user_data. And I'm just going to drag and drop that file in. Now, because I've done that, if I was to run the program now, it wouldn't know where this file is. It would be like that file doesn't exist. So we just need to update our file handling functions to make sure that we are now saying that it's in the user data folder. So to start with, in storage, we're going to just make a constant called user data path. Okay, and we're going to set that equal to the string user data /. And essentially, this means we can just concatenate this to the start of our file names whenever we're using them. So like here, where we're telling it to read a file, we can give it our user data path, and that will just be added in. And then later down the line, if I decided, oh, actually, I want to call it something other data, then we can just update it once here in this constant, and it's all fine. So I'm going to take this constant name, and I'm going to concatenate it with my file name here. So user data path, add the UID, add.txt. So I'm just adding in this user data path add. And we're going to do this elsewhere here, anywhere where we're writing to a file or reading from a file. So let's come down here to the store password. So here we write a file. So we will paste that in there. This doesn't use any file handling. That's our shift. So let's just close these up. Encrypts, that doesn't do anything. Decrypt doesn't do anything. And test encryption. Actually, we can get rid of test encryption now. That was just for testing purposes. We could leave it in there. I guess we can just close it up and forget about it. It doesn't actually do anything. And yeah, it's a bit irrelevant now. So we've added in that path there. We should also just check our other files to make sure that we're not using it anywhere else. So helper, we've got a read file, but that is we need to give it the file name, so we don't need to change anything there. We don't need to change anything in write file for the same reasons. User input, titled input, user feedback. Wow, we've really fleshed this out with a lot of functions here. Okay, so this all looks fine. In our generator, this is where we generate a password. Wow, we've written a lot of code over the last few days. Okay, lovely. Get secure password. Yep, so that's all fine. And authentication, let's just check this. Create account. Okay, so our create account function here, we need in where we say helper.write file, and then we create that file for the first time. We need to just pop this in here. So we're going to put the same constant in authentication.py. A little bit of a It's not the best solution. It'd be nice to have it in one place rather than two. But hey ho, we're going to say user data slash, and then we're going to use that variable down here. So we're going to say user data path plus UID plus txt. Okay, we haven't changed the location of users.txt. We're going to leave that here. So that's absolutely fine. We're going to leave that. And so now when someone creates a new file, their file will be stored in this user data folder. And when we store other passwords or when we retrieve passwords, they will be taken from this file. So that's just tidied that up a bit. And when we test it later with like different accounts and things, then we can kind of hide and show these files as and when we want to. Okay, right. I started this like, we're not going to get sidetracked today. We will focus on the one thing. And then instantly I have sidetracked myself. But we're going to create a retrieve password function. So if we jump into storage.py and we are going to be working on this retrieve password. Okay. So we get our data and we are splitting it by new lines. And so we're going to have each record as a string in our array. And then what we're going to do is we are going to split that record into by space. So that's what we're doing here. And then we need to decrypt it and see if it matches our search term. So we need to get our search term. So let's say search site equals input. Please enter. What do we want to enter? Please enter the website. Please enter the website for the account details. Something like that. Maybe something less wordy. I'm sure you can come up with something better. Now, I'm just thinking to myself, do we want to use a helper function here? I think we probably do. What do we have? We get titled input, so we can have a title on it and we can get the user input. That might be a little bit better. So let's use the get titled input rather than the input function. And this takes a title and a message to user. So if we go back to storage, we'll say helper dot get titled input. It's nice having these functions already written for us. And we're going to say password finder. Something like that. Sure, again, probably come up with something better. And we're going to say, please enter the website for the account details. Okay, lovely. So in here, we're going to split our records into by spaces, and then we're going to check to see whether our stored site is whether this is the correct record, right? So we're going to say if our search site. And now what I want to do is I want it to be okay that if we have www.google.com stored, if the user just types in Google, it still works. So I'm not going to say if search site is equal to stored site. I'm actually going to say if search site is in stored site, right? So if it's part of that, if it's somewhere in that string, even if it's not exactly all the characters, then we're going to return this. And this could have some problems in the future, but we're gonna think about that as we go. Okay, these print statements were for debugging yesterday, so we're going to get rid of those. What was that? Okay, we're going to get rid of those. And if our search site is in our stored site, then we're going to break. We're going to break out of the for loop, right? We don't want to do anything. So once we have finished, we found our site, then we're going to break and we're going to say, okay, stop looking. Okay, now what else do we want to do? Well, we want to decrypt the whole record, right? So we want to have our username is equal to decrypt, and then we're going to say records at position 1, because I think our username, let's just check in user data. Okay, we have site name, username, password. Yeah, so this is at position 1, site name is at position 0, and password will be at position 2. So if we jump back into here, we're going to say username equals decrypt record 1, and we'll give it the UID so we can decrypt that. and we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to do it for record 2, and we're going to call it password. Okay, lovely. So now we've got the site name, the username, and the password, and we can return this to the user. So down here, we're going to, actually, we're not going to break, we're going to return, and we're going to return stored site, comma, username, comma, password. Okay, and so when we call this retrieve password function, it's going to, if it is successful, it's going to return those values. Okay, otherwise it won't be found. So if we get outside of this for loop here, down here, then it won't be found, the data. And I guess actually we probably don't want to return it. We just want to print it out to the screen here and then return true. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let's print it out to the screen here, because it makes sense to be wrapped up in this retrieve password function rather than us returning it and then having to print them out elsewhere. So let's print them out here. Let's say let's use helper.getTitledInput again. So let's say helper.getTitledInput. And we're going to give it the title of, and actually we'll give it the title of the stored site. So whatever the site they stored, that will be the title. Yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll put in the password. Now we're going to use one of my favorite ways to format a string here. I know we all have our favorite ways of string formatting, and this is mine. Let's give ourselves a bit more space on the screen here. Okay, so we're going to say helper.getTitledInput, and in here we're going to, so this bracket I need to keep, but this string we're going to say dot format, and we're going to put some brackets on that as well. And I can bring this bracket back now. So with repl.it, it gets a bit silly with existing brackets. And so this string here, I'm going to put in some curly brackets. So what we're going to say is we're going to have our username, colon, brackets. I don't want to get titled input though. I want to just print to the screen, don't I? I want to print to the screen. Let's go into helper. Sorry, I've just realized this is actually going to ask us for input. And oh no, I guess we could have, yeah, no, this is going to work. This is going to work just fine. Let's leave it here. Okay, so username, and then we're going to put these curly brackets, and we're going to put username in the brackets of format here. And what that's going to do is it's going to, as it runs the format function here, it's going to look for the first set of curly brackets, and it's going to apply this first thing in the rounded brackets here, and it's going to insert it where these curly brackets are. It's going to replace those curly brackets with the value of this variable. Just makes writing strings a little bit easier without all the pluses and concatenation and stuff. So there's our username. We're going to put \n to put our next thing on a new line. We're then going to say passwords, and again, brackets, curly brackets there. And in format, we're going to put a comma after username, and we're going to put password. Okay. And then we're going to put a new line. And then we're going to put another new line. And then we're going to say press. I've noticed I'm not putting a space between the end of the new line, that /n and press. That's because otherwise, if I did put a space there, press would start slightly indented and it'd look weird. You'll know if you do that, you might notice it, and it'll drive you mad, maybe. Or maybe you'll be cool with it. Maybe like, yeah, it's fine. Don't mind. It's fine. It's all good. Whatever you want. It's fine. So we're going to say press enter to continue. And this way, it's going to ask them for an input, and then, so they could type anything, but they're just going to press enter, and then it's going to go on, and everything will be fine. Okay. This looks like it should be good. Okay, so we're not going to return stored site or anything like that. We're just going to return true because it has been successful. And then down here, we're going to return false because it's been unsuccessful, and we're going to print to the user I guess we could go round again. If we used get titled input, yeah, okay. We could say continue is actually a reserved word. We can't use that. We can say try again is equal to helper dot get titled input, and we can say we can give it the same title actually. So we can give it stored site as the title, and then we can say passwords. We probably want to say stored site not found. Not found. Would you like to try another search? Okay, so we're going to put our stored site at the top. As I'm saying it out loud, I hate it. Let's try site not found. Account not found. Site not found. Oh, these are such small decisions, and yet I'm worrying about them. Okay, account not found, and then we'll have stored site add not found. Would you like to try another search? And then we'll put y/n, and that will print that out. And then we will say if try again is equal to no. So if it's an n, then we are going to say, what are we going to say? Actually, no, we don't need to say if at all. Yeah, we do. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Let's cut this, and we're going to wrap all of this in a while loop. So down to here, yeah, we're going to say while try again does not equal n. So it can be anything else, but as soon as it's n, we're going to end this loop, right? And then we're going to chuck everything inside this loop. All of this stuff here, we're going to chuck in there. Okay. And then up here, we're going to initialize try again as a value. So we're going to say try again is equal to y to start it off. Okay. So, oh, not double equals, single equals, and no colon. Sorry, I copied that if statement. Okay. So we're saying try again is equal to yes. We're going to try again. And while try again is not equal to n, well, y is not equal to n. So we're going to keep going around. And then as soon as if the user's unsuccessful here, then they'll keep going around this while loop until they say, no, I don't want to try again. And then it will exit out and return false. Okay, now let's implement this in our main code and see if it works. So let's just go to main.py and make sure it's in here. So we can see, actually, we already put it in, or I already put it in a earlier version here. I said storage.retrieve password. I just wasn't doing anything. We need to give this the UID. So we're going to put that in the brackets here. And are we actually asking for the UID in storage? True password UID. Yeah, we are. Why is it underlined? No, it's not. It was just being weird. Okay, fantastic. So I think now we should be able to log in as Bob, add some data to his file, and then we should be able to retrieve that data. So let's have a look and see if it's working. Now, I'm fairly confident that we're going to hit error city, but let's be positive. So let's log in. We're going to enter Bob and password 1. Okay, lovely. Pick an option from the list above. So I'm going to store a password first, mainly because I can't remember what website we added yesterday as part of our test data. But it'd be nice to test the whole system. So I'm going to put in www. What should we go? Whenever I have to think of a website, I can think of no websites. www. Let's do steampowered.com, I guess, is their website, where we buy all of our cool video games. Okay, steampowered.com. Let's go to there. And my username will be gamerguy101. And my password will be iHeartGames. Okay, there we go. So we've added that, and you can see that this new line has been added here. Okay. Now, a bit of a giveaway to our encryption. We can see that www has been encrypted exactly the same time, exactly the same way in the first one as it has the second, which is a little bit awkward. And we could do something clever to avoid that. In fact, the dot has been encrypted the same way as well. But it's beyond the scope of what we're doing here. Let's not get too bogged down in the details. Okay, so now we're going to retrieve that. Okay, so I'm going to press 2, and here we go. We're in the password finder, and I just love that helper.get titled info. That's such a good little function that just really makes us feel like an application. Okay, please enter the website for the account details. Let's just enter Steam, because it should technically just be finding a subset of that. So let's put Steam. Hooray! Fantastic! Oh my god! It actually works. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. So we've got steampowered.com. My username, GamerGuy101. Password, iHeartGames. But in here, it's just stored as gibberish, which is lovely. And then I can press enter to continue. Voila. Okay, let's try and retrieve an account that's not in there. So did I put Google in there? Yes, I did. There we go. Look, I found Google as well. I didn't even know that I had Google. I'd forgotten what this one was, but there we go. We have Google. Okay, lovely. Let's try and retrieve another password. And I'm going to try and find one that doesn't exist. Doesn't matter which one it is, so let's just go for Bing. If it doesn't matter, let's choose Bing. And, oh, look, blank not found. Would you like to try another search? This isn't good. We want our stored site to be not found. We're using stored site, not our search site. Okay, that's why this isn't working. So let's jump into storage. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to bring this across, bring this in. Okay, so down here we are saying stored site, right? But our stored site is the one that we decrypted here. But obviously we didn't decrypt it because we never found the correct stored site. It was never there, and this is kind of variable has died. So we need the search site. Okay. What I'm going to do is just change this to search site, and let's run this and see if we can get a proper error message. So we're going to log in. I should have really automated this, but it's okay. I get really quick at typing password 1, which is good. So I can log into all of my internet accounts that all have that password as their password. Okay, we're going to retrieve a password. We're going to look for Bing. Bing not found. Would you like to try another search? And if I press yes, it'll take me back to there. Okay, enter the website for the. Please enter the website for the account details. No, I don't. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Okay, let's just say please enter the website name. That's much better. That's much cleaner. Okay, lovely. I just can't. Sometimes when you just can't, I couldn't then. Ugh. Okay. Password 1. Lovely. So we're going to retrieve password and we are going to enter Bing. Bing not found. Would you like to try another search? Yes, please. Okay, password finder. Please enter the website name. Let's try MySpace, everyone's favorite social media. Okay, MySpace not found. Would you like to try another search? Yes or no? And I could really do with a little space in there. So let's just jump down to here. Just that's fixed, so I won't restart the app for that. So then I press N for no, don't want to try another search, and then we're back to the account menu. And I can press 4 to log out, and I'm back at the main menu. So now let's test our create account function, right? So if I go to 2, please enter a username, Eric, and please enter a password. I was going to put I hate Bob, but that's too much negative energy to put into the world. Let's just put 3R1C, a very bad version of Eric there. Okay, and the program ended. I don't know why the program ended. Why did the program end? Did he get a file created? Yeah, he did. Okay, did he get added to users.txt? Yes, he did. So we have a hash added. We have his data added here. The program did just absolutely balk as soon as we created a new account. So that's something we need to look at. Authentication.create account. Okay, interesting. Equals account menu. equals main menu. Right, where do we do the main menu? Program is running equals main menu. Okay, and so here, authentication.create account. Oh, okay, and then we need to return true. Yeah, then we need to return true. So it's just a case of not returning true here. So let's return true. And so we should be able to create another account. So let's create another account. Let's create an account for Scott, and let's have his password be the great password mypass52. Okay, and it's taken us to the login screen. Now I keep saying this. There are some like phases here where it'd be really nice to have just a account successfully created, right? So maybe we'll put that in the create account function. So where is it in authentication? So if we go to authentication, if we go to the create account here, did I write a function, the user feedback, right? User feedback, we clear, we print a message, we sleep, and then we clear. That's great. So we can say helper.userFeedback in our authentication at the bottom of create account. We can say helper.user. Look how much we're using helper in this file, right? Every other line is helper, 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 helper. Okay, this is great. Helper.userFeedback. Clearly, it was worthwhile investing some time making that file. And we're going to say account successfully created. And we'll stick with the default time, so we won't give it an amount of seconds, but we could, if we wanted to, put a comma here and tell it how many seconds. You can see there it's popped up a little message, user feedback message, and we're currently on the seconds argument, and it's defaulted to 3, and we'll happily leave it at 3. We'll get rid of that comma, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, so let's create another account. And I guess really we could probably do with returning to the main menu. Is that too much to ask? I guess that's just silly though, because then once you created your account, you'd want to log in. Program is running equals main menu. If program is running, then we do this. Yeah, no, I'm fine with just going to login screen. We don't need to muddy the water. Okay, let's make our 4th account of the evening, or of the day, or whenever you're watching this, of the morning, of the new moon. So enter a username. We will have Bradley steps up to the plate, and I will enter a password. Let's just have his name backwards. That was more difficult than I thought. Account successfully created. Boom. Back to the login. Fantastic. Okay. I've forgotten all of the usernames. Let's just do Bradley. So I should be able to log in as Bradley, and enter his password. I really wish I hadn't put that as backwards. Oh no. I failed. Let's log in. Let's try Scott. I think I did mypass52 for him. mypass52. Unfortunately, because I've hashed all of their passwords in user data, as soon as if I forget any of these credentials, there's no way I can find out what it is, right? I haven't actually got their username or password stored anywhere. I've got their hashes stored, but that's a one-way encryption, right? That's a hash. I can't reverse that. And so if I've forgotten Bradley's password, that's it. He doesn't exist anymore. I just got to have to delete him from the log or something. Yeah, that's awkward. That is very awkward. But we can see here, look, our accounts are being created here. This is fantastic. And if I store a password for Scott, let's put in www.scott.co.uk. Yeah, I know, big website for Scott. His username is scott@scottmail.com, and his password is scottyboy. Okay, and that should have popped that into here. Fantastic. So look, we can see here that we have got this, and you can see that this also starts with www. Right? But it has been encrypted differently to how this www. is encrypted. For this person, www. is encrypted the same way, but between people, they're encrypted differently because we're using their unique identifier in order to give some randomness as to how we do this encryption. Now, to make sure that we can retrieve passwords for Scott as well, let's just search for his website, Scott. There we go, scott.co.uk. His username was scott@scottmail.com, and his password was ScottyBoy, and that is what all of this means. This is working. This is fantastic. I accidentally did what I was going to do for tomorrow's video, for next version's video. So if we go back to our to-do list here, we have created a retrieve password function, and that is working swimmingly. Swimmingly? That's working great. That's working fantastically. Fantastically. It's good. And we have created this test. Well, we've tested it. It's working, right? We've got it working. We've got our account creation option done. Now, what we do need to do, though, is we need to test app using invalid data. And so for our next version, we're just going to be making it more robust. And let's just see right at the end here, before I finish, let's just see if we can break this, okay? And as soon as I break this app, we will then finish. So let's pick an option from the list above. Let's pick option 5. Okay, good. That's okay. Hello. Okay, okay, great. This is more robust than I thought. Let's generate a password. Okay, password length. Let's put in Steve. Invalid number. Oh, okay. We've programmed this fairly well. 506. Cool. It will allow that. Okay, fine. Hello. No. Okay. Let's try and log out. Geez, it might be harder to break this than I thought it would be. Let's try and log in, and let's enter just a wrong username. So 5 and the password of 5. Invalid username or password. Shutting down password manager. Okay. I will have to go away and have a think about the vulnerabilities of this. I was hoping I'd run into some vulnerabilities ASAP there, but clearly not. We've got pretty much a working app here. Okay, we are able to create accounts. We are able to store passwords. We're able to retrieve passwords. We're able to generate random passwords that we can use. One thing that would be really nice, actually, is let's add this to our to-do list. Maybe we'll do this the first thing tomorrow. Copy generated password to user Clipboard. Okay, so that we can instantly paste that into wherever we wanted it to go. Okay, I think that would be really helpful. Okay, lovely stuff. We're going to end it there. This has been a good, successful half an hour, a very focused half an hour, and I think I'm in a bit of a rambly mood, and so I need to kind of shut myself up before it takes over. So thank you for watching, thank you for following along, and I hope to see you in the next version where we will be testing this and trying to make it bulletproof before the big finish where we add a user interface. This will take a couple of versions to get it right, but with a user interface, we won't just be in the console, we'll have a little window and it will be like a proper application. It'll be amazing, and that will round this whole project off. Thank you so much for programming along. Thank you for showing up and for dedicating your time to improve your programming skills. And I hope to see you in the next version. Until then, goodbye.